Now it's time to finally go over the rankings for Nijigaku. This one is going to be not as old as the other polls, so there won't be as many votes, but this will definitely be going over all of the girls that we have, all 13, which is the original 9 plus Yu Takasaki, as well as the 3 rebirth girls to give us a whole 13. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to the rankings for these girls. So in 13th place we got Yu Takasaki, and that is by no surprise. She is kind of the most lackluster girl out here, and it really does show. She kind of falls to last place here with 129 votes for last place. That is definitely not great, but I guess there are some people who did get worse. As you can see, she's just the worst in pretty much every section, and you know, I don't blame people for that. You know, she's not even really a full-fledged idol. She isn't, but she is in the group. She hasn't sung any songs. She has so little moments. She kind of exists in the anime, and then I guess she kind of exists in the game, but you know, there isn't just a whole lot there for us to be connected to her. And as you can see, she was the least favorite as she got the least amount of first place votes. So overall, just not great here. Males seem to like her a little bit more than females, but that you know, and that's the only bright spot I could see for her. Next up, we have Ranju Zhong, and she got 12th place, so I guess that's not last place. But many of you can probably guess why she hasn't done well. But one notable thing is that she does have her fans. She has the most amount of second place votes at 43, which does help her climb a bit. But even with all of those, she still only got 12th place, which is, you know, just one above you here. So obviously, she definitely does struggle. And why? Well, quickly, if you just take a look, there is a lot of 13th and 12th place votes here, as there are still people who are very unsatisfied with the way she behaved in the story in School Festival All Stars. I won't delve into too much of that, but basically she was not very nice, and that is still very much shown here. She is more appreciated by females, which I wasn't expecting. I thought males would appreciate her more, but I guess I'm wrong here. So females appreciate Ranju a good amount more here, and it looks like the younger people don't care as much for her, but the older people do. So I don't know, that's kind of odd. I was not expecting this trend at all, but nevertheless, she is in 12th place, which I kind of expected. I thought she would move up a little higher, but I guess she's in 12th place though. So we'll have to see if that changes, especially as she gets more content. I think that's one of the big things detracting from her, and we'll have to see where Mia lands as well. Speaking of Mia, take a look who's in 11th place. So for Mia Taylor, she gets 11th place, and she only got 10th place first votes, so that's definitely part of the problem here, is that Mia is not that popular, but somehow she got a better average than Ranju, and that's probably because she didn't get a whole lot of 13 places, because that kind of was usually defaulted to you, but she got a lot of 12th and 11th places. One notable difference is that she also got a decent amount of higher placings, except first place, as again, she got the least amount of first place votes. So overall, it's not that popular, and it really does show here. And when often people talk about when the rebirth girls, they talk about Ranju, they might talk about Chihiro, but they don't usually talk about Mia. So, you know, she's kind of not the one that everyone hates, but not that everyone loves either. So that's kind of where she falls. As you can see, she's a little bit liked more by females than males, and I guess the older audiences seem to care about Mia that much. And in 10th place, we have Karen Asaka, and, you know, again, if you saw the story, this might explain why. Although, you know, she hasn't been that extremely popular in the US. I think she's, or at least in Japan. And I can't say I'm fully surprised, considering, you know, how that story went down. So, you don't really see this being much of a surprise, especially considering the past as well, that she hasn't been extremely popular despite coming out with some pretty good songs. As you can see, she really lacks a lot of first place votes. She's not very well loved. She's kind of been averaging, when you look into places, around 9th to 10th place, but a good amount of 11 to 12th places as well. She's not the least favorite out there, but you know, she just barely beat Ranju and Mia, which, you know, had some controversy, which really brings it out. In fact, they're really new characters. There just isn't much there. So this is definitely a really disappointing ranking for Karen, because she is one of the main girls here, and the one that's been out for a while. When we look at the trends here, she is more appreciated by the older audience and females. I thought males, again, would appreciate her more, but I keep getting surprised by these, so, oh well. So, it's unfortunate, but Karen is still just not doing very hot. And in ninth place, well, no surprise again, we get to Ai Miyashita. And yeah, I mean, basically the backpack of this is just all the girls who are kind of in that kind of controversy with the story here. And, you know, of course, plus you. So Ai Miyashita has really fallen off, and can't say that's a surprise. Again, she's more appreciated by females, kind of seems the trend, but she's really not liked by the younger audience here. So Ai's definitely been struggling, but a lot of the older audience seems to really appreciate her. Ai has kind of been really defaulting from 8th to 10th, 11th place this year, and you know, even a 12th place here with 40 votes. She does have her fans, so let's not disregard that, but you know, she has really struggled because of what she has done there. I don't know if the second season anime will change it, but she has definitely have been failing to impress recently. And in 8th place, well, we got Ayumu, and well, why? Again, another controversy which is kind of brought it down. I don't think Japan has been affected by that as much, but of course, if you watch the anime, Yandere Ayumu comes to mind, and that really hurt a lot of people's opinions of her. So some people still love her. Let's not kid ourselves here, but a lot of people have really stopped liking her as much. It's kind of really spread out from like 6th and past, where there's a good amount of votes that just have not liked her as much, and she used to be relatively popular. As we see, her ranking by males is 6.669, so she is a little bit more appreciated by males here, so finally someone who appreciates her more, and being males. And then we have 10 to 14 year olds, interestingly enough, appreciate her the most out of this group, and it's pretty significant. Of course, the target audience, which is the 15 to 20 year olds, don't appreciate Ayumu. And you know, I do see a lot of people keep talking about how they don't like how Ayumu really behaved towards the end of season 1 here. Obviously, that wasn't enough to really compete with the girls who had some interesting decisions in the All-Star story. So she only fell about this back, but if I remember correctly, she used to be consistently top 3 or 4. So this is definitely quite a drop-off for her. So we'll have to see if season 2 will be able to help fix how people think about her. Going into 7th place, we have Emma Verde, which I guess is kind of an upgrade if you've seen a lot of the older polls, as Emma was always kind of just in dead last. But now, you know, since all the other girls did something silly or crazy in stories or anime, they fell behind her. So I guess this is an upgrade for Emma. So getting 7th place, honestly, good for her. So as you can see for Emma, there is still a decent amount of, you know, she's just kind of there, or she's alright, or not as interesting. And you know, we can see as her most common placing is 9th place with 45 votes, and you around there is where you see a good chunk of her votes. But notably, she doesn't have that many last place votes, as it used to be kind of, you know, the default for throw Emma in last. So I guess you could say that's kind of an upgrade. She is definitely more appreciated by females, as you can see with the 6.3, but she fails to definitely impress the older audience. Emma's definitely been a lot of more friendly with a bunch of the kids, which I guess 10 to 14 year olds seem to appreciate the fact that she likes younger kids, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but she definitely seems to be more appreciated by the younger audience. In 6th place, we have Kasumi Nakasu, and that's a little bit of a surprise because usually Nakasu has been pretty popular amongst a lot of people. He's a little bit more with the Japanese audience. And I know there are people who don't care for her, especially because they can think that she's relatively annoying with her antics and just her overall personality. But there are some moments in, you know, if you look at the story, that definitely brings a great appreciation for what she did and how she was able to overcome the struggles. So Kasumi has been more popular with males with 5.7 compared to the 7 for females. Of course, this had a little more females in this poll here. But as you can see, she definitely has a decent amount of fans, but she's not necessarily always people's favorites. But she has definitely been really able to get a lot of these 6th through 2nd place votes here. So overall, she is kind of liked by people, but she hasn't really risen the ranks all the way to the top here. In 5th place, we have Shiriko Mifune, and that's definitely a big improvement over my older polls. So my older polls were definitely done in a time where, you know, we didn't know a whole lot about her. She was a relatively new character, so a lot of people defaulted to throwing her towards the back. But now, as you can see, that's no longer the case. She only has 5 votes for 13th place, which is such a small percentage. So that's definitely a great improvement to see. And the fact that your most popular placing is actually 4th place, but she also got a good amount of 2nd, 3rd place votes on top of it. Yes, there are some rankings spread around, and some people are still throwing her towards the back, but overall this is a great improvement. And as you can see, she is a little bit more appreciated by males and females, but it's not that crazy amount more. And the 10 to 14 year olds seem to not appreciate her as much, but overall this is a really great improvement to see, and I'm glad to see Shihideko move up towards the ranks, and we'll have to see if she's going to move up more or not, because of course she's going to be in the second season anime, which could definitely help her as more people learn more about her, or I guess it could hurt her if she does something what like Ayumi did. Next up is Shizuku Asako, which Shizuku has definitely kind of struggled in a lot of the older polls because a lot of people think she wasn't very interesting or rather boring. Now, she had a minor controversy in also story, but I think more or less she really truly redeemed herself and really was able to improve people's opinions on her. As you can see, she actually had the most amount of 2nd place votes with 43, but as you can see, a lot of her votes are definitely more towards the top. As you move from the bottom to top, you can see it generally trends to get more. So overall, a lot of people tend to like her more than what they did before. The most notable section for her is actually the younger audience, where she actually had the best average for that, being 5.267. So she seems to be really attractive towards the younger audience, which is, I don't know why, but I guess that's just the way it works. So good job for Shizuku for getting 4th place. And for 3rd place, we have Setsuna Yuki, which I guess 3rd place is a little sad for her because she usually kills it and gets 1st a lot, but this is still overall pretty good for her. So Setsuna, the most notable thing is that she is the favorite from males, 5.1, which is a pretty good average if you look at it. But nevertheless, she still does very well. She definitely got a lot of 1st place votes here, a lot of 2nd place votes, and frankly, a lot of people really tend to like her as she is usually towards the top here. There are still people who don't care for her and don't get her charm, but I think she's great. But maybe I'm biased. I don't know. It's definitely not because I have her image as my profile picture. But overall, she's definitely really appreciated. Of course, females don't seem to appreciate her as much, but she really nails that target category with 15 to 20 year olds, which of course makes her towards the top of the rankings usually. And in 2nd place, we have Rina Tennoji. So Rina has gotten the most 1st place votes and the most 3rd place votes. Surprisingly, she got not a lot of 2nd place votes in comparison, which I find a little odd. But overall, that is a very, very good for her. She also only has 8 13th place votes, which again is also very good. So as you can see, she is more favored by females than males, but it's not exactly that much different. But she is also really appreciated by the younger audience, which is giving her a 5.32, which is pretty dang good. One notable thing is that she seems to be a lot more appreciated by the US audience than the Japanese audience. That's because the Japanese audience doesn't really care about Rina, to be completely honest. At least from what I saw from all the other polls, Japanese audience is not so big on Rina. So if you were to take a look at that, that can definitely really change if I had more Japanese people voting. But good for Rina, getting 2nd place here. And now let's jump to 1st. So the favorite character for Nijigaku is going to be Kanata Konoe. So congratulations to Kanata. And 2nd, sorry I couldn't find a better image of her room, but she's the only character I struggled to find, so I didn't know where it was in the All-Stars story, or maybe it's Squall Festival. So apologies, that's just, she was stuck in there and I couldn't cover her with a good image. That looks very nice. But going to her average, as you can see, she has done very, very well. One of the notable things is that 12th place and 13th place, she only got 6 votes each, which really helps her average because it's not bogged down by that. On top of that, her most popular placing is actually going to be 5th place, and she's definitely got a good amount of 1st or 4th. She wasn't anyone's really favorite, but the fact that she did so well with so many people really helped out her average. She is very popular with males, and she was the favorite from females, which is actually still a worse average from males, as believe it or not. And she is definitely the favorite from the target audience and the older audience, which is definitely a bit of a surprise, but I'm glad to see that people really like Kanata. And well, this is the first time I believe she won the poll, as usually it's kind of been Setsuna most of the time. So congratulations to Kanta for winning the poll. So if you want to take a look at all of the results all put next together, here it is. This is what I used to show you all the averages. And so if you care to look at it, of course, yellow is going to be the best in every category, and the red is going to be the least favorite from each category. And of course, we're going to be talking about sub-units, but this is the results for all of the other girls from before if you wanted to look at that and compare them amongst each other. So let's take a look at the sub-units, because we have 4 sub-units. We have Azuna, Diva, the new Rebirth, and Quartz. So let's take a look and see where it is. So in first place, we have Quartz, which, you know, originally I thought it was kind of a little surprise, but honestly, I think Quartz has just been killing it. And they have my favorite sub-unit song from Nijigaku with Twinkletown. Yes, I like Christmas music. And they're just doing great, honestly. And I really have been liking Quartz. They had the most amount of first place votes here, by no surprise. And then going to second place, we have Rebirth. So Rebirth, you know, I'll take this ranking with a, you know, kind of grain of salt, as they only have 1 song as a subunit. Yes, they got the girls where you can learn about, and they have their own solo songs and such, but it's kind of a little unfair to rank it since they've gotten so little. But what they provide us was what Monster Girls was pretty good, and people liked it. So as you can see, the trend that they might be staying towards second place, they might move up or down, we don't know. But as for right now, the current location is second place for these girls, as people have been giving it second place for the most part here. Now, it's notable that Rebirth is the favorite for females here. Okay, very interesting. So we'll see if that changes in the future. And then we have the last 2 subunits with Azuna, which most people would say it's the worst subunit, and then Diva, which, what? I mean, I thought people really liked Diva and their songs, but I guess they barely lost, especially because male ranking is kind of really dropped from them. Maybe that's because it is IE and Kaden, and people's opinions on them has really faltered, which, yes, that's true, and it should be fair. But as a subunit themselves, you know, when you just take a look at the songs and MVs, I don't feel that's right. And especially if you look at Azuna, it just kind of fails in every category. It's Azuna, you know, they got Maze Town, which some people definitely do appreciate and whatnot, but they got more work to do if they want to really win the hearts of many people here. But, you know, those are the rankings. I'm just here to tell you results, and it's up to you to interpret it as how you want. But, well, that's my results. And of course, if you want to look at the demographics, I have it here if you want to see where people are from. Of course, US dominated, and we got a little bit more females than males this time. And of course, big thank you to all the people who participated in this poll. As you can see, their names going across the screen. Thank you very much. This is only possible because you guys go ahead and voted in it, so I really do appreciate it. And of course, big shout out to YouTube members like Coolmax for supporting me on this channel. If you want your name to show up, you know what to do. Support this channel, please. And of course, there are all the comments, so if you're curious to see why certain people voted certain ways for the girls as well as subunits, you can see it on the screen. But that will be it for this rankings. What did you guys think about this? Were you surprised about it? How do you feel about these new girls? What is your opinions on Mia, Ranju? What is your opinion on you? Or what's your opinion on any of them, you know? Are you really peeved about some of these controversies that these girls have ran through, especially in All-Star Story? Or does that not affect you anymore? You know, do you not care about IE and Kaden so much because of that? Or did that really affect your opinion on Mia and Ranju? Are you past that? What's your opinion on you so far? What do you think about her? Do you think she just hasn't had enough? Or maybe you're a big fan of you and you want to let it be known. So, of course, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to put out your rankings, you go ahead and put in the comments below as well. And we'll see how this changes. Of course, I will be doing more of these in the future. My goal is to reopen it when we're going to have the second season of the anime, which we will have to wait insanely far from now, but we still got a bit ways to go. But I'll definitely be looking forward to that and seeing how these girls behave in the anime, and we'll see how these girls' rankings will shift from that. So I'll definitely be looking forward to that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and hope to catch you guys in another video soon.